This is Fox 25 Morning News.
Still ahead, is your freshman starting to get those pre-college jitters? Well, we've got the solution. The tips for parents to keep their students' nerves at bay.
All right, Shannon, thank you. College students heading back to campus over the next few days for returning upperclassmen. Chance to reconnect with friends and get back to where they left off in the spring. But for freshmen, it can be a nerve-wracking time where the fear of unknown can be overwhelming. Joining us this morning to talk more about this is college planning expert and author Paul Hemphill. Paul, good to see you. Right now, these freshmen, I would think, maybe a few sleepless nights before they head to college. Anxiety is starting to kick up there.
Really, it's the fear of the unknown. They've never been in these kinds of environments before. They don't know what it's like to share a room with an absolute stranger. What are they going to do? You know, and they hear about campus parties and what's that all about, and am I smart enough to be here? Right. All these crazy questions is going through their minds.
How do you budget your time, the workload of classes?
Yeah.
There's a lot to deal with.
They're scared.
Now, do you find that a lot of these freshmen are like, hey, I'm ready for this, and we're going to go have a great time, and I'm going to knock it out, when deep down,
they're lying.
Yeah, they're lying, and put on the old brave face for mom and dad and their friends, but
Exactly.
deep down, they're a mess.
That's absolutely correct. And so once they get there, one of the things they really need to do to ease things is they ought to sign up for a free Skype account so that they can Skype their parents from day one, day two. And the less Skype calls the parents get, that's a good sign that the student is settling in.
So this isn't a bad time for the old helicopter parent thing, at least initially at the outset.
That's correct.
So they feel connected.
Because it's that emotional umbilical cord that's going to be cut eventually, and it's very difficult for the student to separate that. It's even difficult for the parents to separate that. So those Skype calls could work very, very well.
I remember when I went to college first 2 weeks, a month, I hated it. My father said, okay, just finish the semester, then we'll reevaluate. Right. Then I was all of a sudden turned around and started loving it. It was great. You really got to give this time.
You do. The first 6 weeks are the toughest. Once you get through those first 6 weeks, you're going to be fine, and most students do. Yeah. But I will say that if you can distract yourself by looking at the college bulletin boards around campus, see what activities or events you could go to distract yourself, that would also help.
What kind of contact is too much for parents? Because you know, you want to be there, but you also want to ease them into this transition. But you know, popping in unannounced, calling constantly, texting constantly, how much is too much? Or is that something your child determines?
That's something your child determines. Mom, what are you doing here?
Beat it.
Exactly.
I'm okay now.
Get out of my face. Come on, that's the reason why I went to college.
And as time passes, though, it's reasonable to expect that they should adjust. If they don't, then what kind of concerns does that raise? Well,
every college has counseling centers on campus because one of the objectives of a college is to make sure your student stays, because they want that cash flow to keep coming in on a monthly basis. Those are really big, fat checks that they really like. So it's an investment for the colleges to really help your student make the transition. If in the final result you can't make that transition, well, obviously, perhaps maybe the student has to come home.
And if you have a student who you know is a little apprehensive anyway, how does that affect the parents in terms of writing the check? Because they do have these sort of tuition insurance plans that if you pay and they don't go, you can get your money back, or do you just pay by semester, which is another option you have. What advice do you have to make sure that if you're going to invest in your child and your child may be a little skittish about this stuff, that they're not going to bail on you and then you've paid for something they're not going to use? Well,
you really want to contact the financial aid office and find out what the policy is of the school. That's the first place you go. Yeah. And if the school says, well, once you write the check, it's over, man. We got it.
Which is pretty much what they're going to say.
Exactly.
Right. So you really need to make sure, at that stage of the game, once your kid's going off to college, you need to know that they're ready to handle it.
That's correct.
For the most part.
Yeah.
So have that conversation and get that done. All right. Paul Hemphill, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Good to see you, sir. And for these freshmen heading to college, you'll have a great time. Let's get it over to Lily.